That's right. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am Black. Yeah. Power. Um, so, how are you doing,
Hey,
Victor?
I'm good. How are you? Anything you want to talk about in particular?
Nah.
I don't even know if we
uh,
should. I don't even know
I
if we
know
should put
it's
this out
weird.
tomorrow or
It,
Tuesday.
it's weird. It's like it's still like it's not new news, but it's definitely something that's still going on. It's really like still happening. So it's kind of
It's still
hard to really,
active. It's still
yeah, it's
active
still hard
news.
to depict whether or not like what's really. I mean, obviously, know a lot of shit that's been bad and whatnot, but like it's really hard to go and make an opinion off of something that's still going on. It's like it's crazy, honestly. I was gonna text you before we started. I was like, "Yo, should I put like a mask on?" like, "Yo,
No, no,
etc. We joined in." It was like, "Yeah, we have joined part of them." So everybody, watch out.
no, this stuff is ridiculous, man.
It is. I did not think it would get this crazy. I mean, like, I personally think, what's happening is definitely out of something like meaningful. Like, I definitely think, protesting is a great idea, but a lot of the times we definitely have to make sure we don't forget what we're protesting about.
Which
And
100% is what's happening.
exactly. And, I definitely like I don't know how to say it. Like rioting just isn't really the thing. But if rioting means, to still remember obviously what we're protesting about, then like okay, but it has to be kind of peaceful because in one sort of way, obviously we're upset and obviously we feel like nobody's listening to us and we feel like if we can't like show up for it, then they're just going to keep rolling over us and they're just going to keep doing the same thing, which is understandable as to why things have gotten a little bit out of hand because I guess some people just think, nothing's going to change unless we literally get it in their face. So it's like, I kind of understand, but
There's no right way to
again,
do it.
yeah, there isn't. And it's just because of how the system is. There just
There's
really
Malcolm and
isn't.
there's Malcolm and there's Martin. It's like there's no
Yeah, that's literally what it was. Both of them had the same idea, but how to go
different
about it
methods, and either
was
and they both ended up in the same predicament in the end.
yeah,
So it's just like
and it's just crazy. But again, it does all stem from the fact of just just the power of people have, and it's just going to keep like it was crazy that like people just don't see it. Well, certain people just don't see it, but like we obviously see it. It's like, yo, like these people that are higher ups are just going to keep letting us like sit down here and not have a voice, and it's never going to change. Yeah, a lot of stuff has been happening. It's just been crazy, and I've just been like looking at it like, wow, like I don't try to get too deeply involved just because like I hate seeing those type of things because it's just crazy. It's honestly just crazy to see those type of things and how they like get worse and worse. And it's like, and it's crazy to see how you know how everything started and how cops are like there's some cops that are still doing like what I mean, like they're still like acting like nothing happened, like they're still
yeah.
treating people and handling people with like no type of care. Like it's just crazy to me to see like stuff like that it's still happening. It's like, yo, like you literally just saw what this cop did and you're literally no better by doing this. Like you think you have a right to do these type of things. Like if somebody's having their hands up, if somebody's like you have no right to do any type of force to them. Like, yeah, you might be able to like put your hands on them to push them back if they're getting in your face, like they shouldn't be doing that. But like to literally like, spray them with pepper spray or anything like that, like that's just not that you shouldn't be doing that.
They're trained to handle these types of situations and they're not handling it well. Like
The thing is, they're probably trained in the beginning because things like this don't happen often, they're just like, oh, who cares? Nobody's like, or they just think to themselves, oh, nobody's watching. There obviously isn't people like watching. Like, oh, okay, they get a video. Like it's just stuff like that. It's like, oh, we shouldn't care because you know who's going to report to us. But it's serious. Like this is like we're human beings and we're fighting against each other, and you guys are literally like taking advantage of your power, and stuff like this is just going to get worse, and who knows what could happen, where we just at this point don't even trust the people that we're supposed to trust. And so.
it's just
I
protesters.
hope that were fireworks. That's all I want to say. I hope that was fireworks. That's all I want to say. Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I mean, I'm kind of speechless about it. Like, I don't get it. I I don't blame the protesters at all because like there's no right way to do it. One, and even if there was a right, like either like you can break stuff, you can not break. And one, they're the main people who started this. It's not even the ones that are breaking anything. It's like the bandwagoners that are like, oh, there's a riot. Let me just these people know I can go break things and I won't get the blame. It'll be the original cause that'll get the blame.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And then it's also like another thing that is annoying me too is that like everything else, it's becoming a trend. Like this whole topic, and it's not that people care anymore; it's that they want to be a part of something and make posts. Like, which again, spreading awareness is cool, but to a certain extent, it seems fake. Like, for example, Quentin, when he tagged me in that whole thing of like, oh, tag 10 other people you know who want to break the cycle, like that thing, it annoyed me, and I didn't even pay attention to it just because like.
Wait, what was it again?
He tagged you in it too. It was like a screenshot upon screenshots of like.
So you see, that's the thing. I remember he tagged me in something, but when the time I went to look at it, I guess it went down.
I guess. I called him out about it, and then I guess I don't know if he took it down because of that, or like I don't know what he did.
Oh, so I didn't even know. I didn't even look at that. Yeah, I remember he tagged me at something at some point, but by the time I looked at it, it was like I couldn't look at it. So I was like, oh,
so I don't know. I don't know if you've seen it on other people's pages, but it was a post of like tag 10 people and then the screen said Black Lives Matter. Screenshot doesn't tag 10 more to keep the chain going. And he tagged me in it and I posted my own thing about it just because like I don't like for the whole thing of spreading awareness, but even though I didn't want to, just because like I don't want to like fall into like it just seems like it's fake. But I know my intention is whatever. But he tagged me in that and I ignored it. And I tagged my thing. He replied to it like it was like, oh, like this is dope, like whatever. But then I told him, I was like, yo, I was like the thing you tagged me in is corny, like it's fake. Like I don't like what does that do for anybody? That's not helping the cause. That's just it's like, oh, it's a little game. Like let me just tag 10 friends and keep it going. Like that's not helping. Like nobody cares about it. It's less about tagging 10. It's more about tagging people than what the post says. So I gotta know it.
Yeah, we shouldn't think of it as like a game, you know. And
I wonder if it's still on my job, so I can show you.
We shouldn't think of stuff like that as a game. And again, like I'm all for, you know, Black Lives Matter. It's just that like I just don't know how to really go about it. And you know, obviously going out right now, it's like, yo, you don't know what could happen. Like, you know, you see in other states where people are getting killed and stuff like that. And if I would want to go out there, like, who knows what could happen, you know, in a second, you know, anything could pop off. And that's the scary part about going out there. It's like, you just don't know what could happen. Yeah. You're like, oh, okay. Some people might think, oh, let's go and loot. But like,
I went down there yesterday too. I was in like all of it, like, cause I went to go get something to go see my grandparents to get something from them. And I was caught in the middle of like, I was in the 76 and it was blocked off. 95 was blocked off. Like I was stuck in traffic for like almost 2 hours, just being a part of all of that. And like, I was in the city, like towards the city where the smoke was and everything.
Shit. I was in Jersey by this. Well, no, I mean, I was actually probably home, but later in the night I was in Jersey.
It was your mom's birthday yesterday, right?
So it was.
Happy birthday. My brother's birthday is today. So it's kind of.
It's crazy because I know like during the end of May, it's a lot of people's birthday, but I just can't always remember. But I know it's like Anita,
and then your mom, and my brother.
Your brother, yeah. And then it's like, yeah, I always remember that. Yeah, it was my mom's birthday yesterday, my lovely mother. And yeah, we just went to Jersey just to celebrate her birthday. But speaking of my mom, though, it's crazy because since she's just been working a lot and just hasn't really been like.
She works in the city too, right?
Not really the city, you know. It's somewhere around like South Philly, but not really in the city.
So she wasn't really around all that stuff.
No, yeah, she wasn't really on it. But she's been off for yesterday and she's off today, so she's chilling right now. But what's crazy is that like I've been talking to her. Well, not really talking to her about it, but like when we were at my aunt's yesterday, we were just certain like conversations came up about the whole situation that's been happening, and I was telling her, and she was like so oblivious to like everything that was happening. She's like, oh, like she didn't know that there was like so heavy protesting and all this stuff because she just hasn't been able to like sit down and watch like, you
news
know,
or
the
be on the
news
internet or
or be
anything.
on the internet or anything like that. So she's just like, wow, like she can't believe it. And even now she's not even really looking at it. But I mean, like if I was to tell her about it, she'd be like so surprised. Like I showed her because there was somebody I follow who was actually at the art museum because I know there was like this whole big thing down there where people were protesting and everything like that.
Standing
And
there,
she,
and the one
and
with
she
the one where like everybody was suited up was dope. Like I actually like
I
that.
didn't see that one.
There was basically like a group of like it was a I don't know how many, but it was like a lot of black people like in suits and ties and stuff like peacefully protesting, and like it
Okay,
was kind of dope to
nice.
see. And then there were
Yeah,
people, and then at the art museum, everybody was just being peaceful, and then things just kind of escalated just when the police got involved.
and yeah, kind of towards probably like the night or whatever. Um, but yeah, like even if I was telling her about it, she'd be surprised. But when I showed her that video, like somebody that they were all at the art museum, she was surprised. She was like, "Wow, there's a lot of people," and I'm like, "Yeah, like it's crazy." And like, and I was saying like it's crazy how it's going to like state to state. Like it's almost like
And,
like a storm, and it's just going like state to state over and over. And
but that's a
that's
part of it that kind of bothers me. Um, I feel well. It depends on what exactly the reasoning is that people are stepping out and protesting for. If you're protesting for George Floyd, I feel like the majority of them protesting should be in Minneapolis. If you're protesting for him, because that's the only area where you're going to see a change being made really towards that situation in that police department of who did the arrest and who killed that person. Um, I don't really see the like if you're over here if you're protesting over here for police injustice, that's different because that's everywhere. But if you're here saying it's for George Floyd, like nothing you protesting in Philly is not going to make any changes to what happened over there at this
well,
particular time.
I feel like if anybody protests here about him, it would basically. I mean, I feel like it has some awareness because it shows that like not only in that state does it matter, but it matters everywhere else as to like the stuff
Bro, it's in
that
Japan.
happens.
It's in Berlin. It's in
I
London.
know, I
Like people are
know,
going crazy.
but I just feel like when you hear about something like that, then you just and it's more just going about just the color of his skin and just how people just oversee the fact that there's cops out here, bad cops that that they don't take their job like they should, like they
They
shouldn't be
abuse the
handling
power
people.
that's on them.
Yeah, and I feel like that's more of like the message, and I guess you would say that people protesting in other states is trying to make that message even more heard because it shouldn't just be in one state; it should be in all states. And when stuff like this happens, it just goes to show because obviously something like this happens, and then there's a little bit of a problem, and then it just kind of goes away, and nobody really hears about it, and
Yeah.
then it's like it keeps happening. So it's like getting to the point where people are just getting fed up. So it's like, yo, we can only tolerate but so much to the point where, yo, like we do these things, we protest for a little, but obviously it's not enough. And obviously you people don't care enough to actually make a change. So when we keep seeing stuff happening, it's like, yo, that's it. Like we're not sitting down anymore. We're not twiddling our thumbs and just being like, all right, it's cool. Like we'll let y'all do y'all. Like, no, it's getting to the point where you're like, come on, like either y'all making the change or going burn our own city down, I guess. But
Yeah, I agree with that. But that's what I'm saying. So if it's about injustice in general, like I get it, but protesting here is not going to get those cops arrested in Minnesota. Is what I'm kind of getting at. Like,
okay, well, I mean, yeah,
yeah,
specifically about those cops, yeah, it's definitely not. But I
but
remember, I think my uncle said that one of them did get arrested, and they actually
this everything has been such a roller coaster. I don't know what to like think or see
yeah,
anymore because the guy that got arrested isn't him.
it isn't. I thought it was.
Bro, there's a side by side picture. Look at the side by side picture. It doesn't look like him. His hairline is like back here, the original cop, and then the guy who got arrested, his hairline's like up here. People have been saying that it's not like, I saw it myself, like the pictures, it doesn't look like the guy. It's another white guy, but it doesn't look like the cop that arrested or killed the guy. That's one.
Wow.
Two, the guy worked with him for like 10 some years. I don't know if we talked about that last week or not.
I don't think so.
They had worked together for like 10 plus years and they knew each other. The cop that kneeled on that guy's neck, George Floyd, not that guy. What else? The whole anonymous thing. Did you see that on Twitter that they came out? The guys that hacked PSN back in 2013. They couldn't play online for like a couple weeks. Now, freaking Trump, Naomi Campbell, Chris Tucker, all these people were in a sex traffic ring, and
Not Chris
freaking
Tucker.
Chris Tucker, and Trump had is it Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey
Yeah.
Epstein killed to like hide those secrets, and like, and then they confirmed that Princess Diana was killed because she had facts on that sex ring, and I don't know what to think anymore. And Jake Paul is looting, even though he's a millionaire. And Tory Lanez is fed up. He brought back his quarantine thing because celebrities are being quiet, and Trump is building.
I thought he was saying not to talk about it. I think
he was saying that people were like disapproving of it. People with a platform were like talking down on people that were protesting. He said, "Yo, stop doing that. Like unless you're out there in the trenches with them, you don't have a right to talk." Like,
okay.
And then there's some guys out here really out here, like Dennis Smith Jr., Michael B. Jordan, Ariana Grande, J. Cole, a couple basketball players. They're out here doing their thing. Freaking Keanu Reeves out here in the trenches. John Wick is out here.
A boy, Neo. My man's from the Matrix. He's out here. He's gonna make a difference. Watch.
And then they sending all this stuff about how like the news is like super controlled, and like how the education system's all effed up. They're showing proof of all this stuff. And they have receipts on all these, like they have like a call list of people that were part of the sex traffic ring.
Well, watch what I put on my social media.
I'm saving. I've saved all the photos.
I saved some of them down. I saved some of them.
And now Donald Trump just tweeted out an hour ago about sending National Guard into Philly. In Philly right now, they're in Kensington doing like because they got word that the cops were setting up shop over there to like combat everything. So everybody shifted from where they were at in Center City to Kensington. K&A, even better.
Yeah, it's crazy because last night with the whole curfew thing, like, yo, it was.
How was that? Were you driving home past the curfew?
I was driving home at like 12, and literally it was like a ghost town. Like, yeah, there was cars.
There were choppers out here, like searching for people walking and stuff.
Like, there was cars, but bro, not a single person I saw on the street. Like, not a single person walking. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I didn't pay no mind to it because I'm like. At first, I'm like, yo, yeah, it's kind of late, you know, nobody really should be out here. But then I'm like, wait, it's Saturday. Like, you know, there's always something probably happening on Saturday. Like, so I'm like, where the hell is everybody at? And I just see nobody. And then there's certain points, there's some cops that got their sirens on going fast somewhere. And I'm just wondering, like, what could that be? But yeah, it was empty. So that was just crazy, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this stuff anymore. I'm Confucian.
Yeah, it's getting really hard to understand.
And like I said, and like my entire social media is like only this right now. I like that shirt.
Right, thanks.
It's only this right now, and now even as we're recording this, I'm like, should we even put this out or like just?
Yeah, it's definitely hard just because, like you said, like, you know, everything is still happening.
I think we need to make a statement. Release a press release. Just send just a black screen with a long paragraph telling how we feel about this.
Yeah, it's like, I honestly, like I said, I really feel bad for everything that's been happening, and like I said, I completely understand where people that are protesting are coming from, because it's like, yo, it's with anything, you know, we all have a voice, and if you're just going to lightly take it and be like, oh yeah, you know, do a little slap on the wrist, you know, make us be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, you know,
yeah, like, and then just turn around, murder, bro.
Yeah, and then turn around, and then be like, oh, you know, we're back on our shit. Like it's just, you can't keep doing that. You know, there's at a certain point you got to own up for your stuff, and we got to like clean the shit that's happening for the people that are in power, and no one's caring about it. So
and then like Corona is still a thing. People are protesting all together and spreading sweat and tears and blood and breathing and coughing and fighting and looting. Yeah. The Apple Store was done. Chase Baker's done. Urban Outfitters is chucked. Foot Locker was burnt down. Cop cars were burnt down. Cars were flipped. People were shot with rubber bullets. People were hit with batons.
I'm just like trying to picture myself, like if I was down there, like what store would I go in first? But anyway, I'm not gonna say that. Like I'm just picturing myself, like I'm just picturing people just like literally breaking stuff, like breaking windows, jumping in stores and like grabbing stuff. Like that's crazy.
And then like the whole Antifa thing of like the group of like, not to generalize, but white people just like in the protests, like breaking stuff, knowing damn well that they're not going to get the blame for it. Like it's just so messed up.
But
And
I mean,
then
there's definitely some people that are white that just like also like agree for like what's
yeah, but they
happening.
aren't the one. But they aren't the ones breaking stuff. They're the same ones that are just out there saying their piece. And then I also feel bad for like a lot of I follow a lot of like small restaurants and like businesses on my Instagram, and a lot of them are getting looted and stuff. And it's like those aren't the guys you hit.
Yeah, you
Like
shouldn't be going for people like that. That's not right. Like especially what's been happening with like,
Target and all them, like they're insured, they can cover those losses, no problem. But like a little family business restaurant type
yes,
situation, like you could make them literally homeless. Like if
yeah,
like
especially with this whole thing with the virus and everything, you know, they lost a lot of money, and you doing that is even making it worse to the point where they
putting a nail
can't.
in the coffin. Some of these family businesses live above their businesses. Like the restaurant will be downstairs and they live right up there.
Yeah,
Like
so you can imagine like hearing that type of stuff, and who knows? But
what is this year, bro? I just want like Christmas to come because like things will
see,
be
but don't say
happy.
that. But it won't though, because I feel scared that it's not going to be like that. Like if
And then
things keep
we're
going,
supposed to get that second wave around that time. When are we gonna be able to be happy again?
I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like it's getting to the point where it's like, yo, like
I'm like trying so hard to like just bury myself in stuff so I don't stress as much. Like I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna create stuff, and I'm gonna do stuff for the ETC and like exercise and read and do and others and meditate and all this
and
stuff to
then
get
you
my
open
mind
your
off of it.
phone,
And
and you
then
open your phone for two
every time
seconds.
my phone vibrates, I'm like, either somebody's texting me or somebody's dead or protesting or something's broken or just being down there for a couple hours. I was just like, man, like this is my home, but like a lot of people that are down there like just need to get out of there. Like it's not safe at the moment. And even before all these protests, like people weren't respecting the whole pandemic thing. Like
Oh
people were
yeah,
just
like people were still going out, and it was annoying me. Like I said, in the very beginning, even to the middle, like right at the end, it's like it's being a little bit more lenient, but we definitely need to stop with the amount of people that are going out. But in the middle of it, it was like the most important part, and people were still not caring. It was like, yo,
and it's not like but people it's not that things are it's like, yo, like there hasn't been a sign of Philly where things are getting better. Like they haven't been like loosening up because things are getting better. People are just not paying attention anymore. So it's not like, oh, like we're near the end of it. We're not. It's just people are fed up, which I
yeah,
get. But you guys were never truly quarantined in the first place. Like people were just living
yeah.
regular.
They were
So
just
like
going
so
about their life.
why are you acting like you're fed up if you never truly just sat at home in the first place?
I don't know.
Even if you are like, oh, I want to go out, then wear a damn mask. Like don't ignore the fact that that's still a thing.
Yeah, like it was crazy. Like going through this whole beginning and middle part of this like virus, like I literally was living like I was like in middle school, like in the summer, like the summertime middle school. Like you had nowhere to go, you know, you couldn't drive, you were just at home. Like so that's
Bro,
literally how I
I
felt.
basically still am living like that, without minor exceptions of like going out to grab small things. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's literally how I feel, like, you know, going about this. And it was like I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Me growing up, that's just like doing that wasn't an issue. But I guess for some people, you know, they never stood in the house like that. So I guess to them, it's like, yo, I can't do this. Like this isn't how I was. Like I lived my life. I was always out. But it's like, dude, we get that. But if you do this for just this little bit of time, I'm not asking you to do this for your whole life. We're just asking you to do this for this good amount of time so we can all go back to like how things were.
and there's a lot of people that like, I don't even know how I can even like bang with you like that. Like, if you can't even just respect this, what's going on? Like, why are you being so
Right?
corny?
Why are you being so arrogant to just mess things up for everybody? I don't know. Is there any good news out there?
And another thing, they're censoring social media. Trump just signed this whole thing now about censoring that part, the whole First Amendment thing on social media, which is great.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Is anything good happening right now? Let's see. A couple albums dropped. You know, well, for me, Coda dropped the album. Deontay Hitchcock was somebody new, but the album sounds good. Amine, Black dropped the freestyle. Amine dropped the song. Lil Yachty dropped Lil Boat 3. Freddie Gibbs dropped an album. Lil Wayne dropped the deluxe edition to his album. Who else? Ain't Gonna drop an album.
You think he did that like last week or 2 weeks? Yeah. Future, yeah.
Good news. What else?
It's hard. I honestly don't know who.
Anything good going on? Anybody was born or anything cool?
Like we said, the only thing we can say is these birthdays that's been happening. That's about it.
We might get sports back.
Might. Yeah.
They have set dates end of July for NBA. NHL's coming soon. The draft got pushed back to September. And then the next season's supposed to start in December on Christmas Day, which I think just chalk those, this is not the time for that. Even though it's great to have, because it'll be a great distraction for people to get to stay home and I don't want to say forget, but take their mind off of certain things so they're not as depressed.
Yeah.
But it's because now moving this stuff back, I don't know if we talked about this last week, but if you move this stuff back, or if you try to keep this stuff going, you're moving back the next season. And then the season after that, and then the season. At some point, if you want to get things back to normal, you have to cut these people's break time short. So I think you should just chalk it up. As much as I'd hate to say no sports for a year, it's the smarter way to do it.
Yeah, so we can just fully get it in its glory.
To get back to normal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. I'm trying to really think if there's one shining light through all this.
I haven't been able to hear about anything. Can't remember about anything that's been.
Even though all this is going on, at least as hectic as things are, this is me really trying to pull something happy out of this. People are coming together for a common cause that care about one another.
That is true, yeah.
Even though there are people who are opposed to it, a majority, I feel or at least what appears to be a majority, are coming together to defend this one person who was
And like I said, it just got to that point where we do it all the time, but we do it all the time hoping that something will change, but it's getting to that point where we're seeing that we're doing it and then nothing is changing. And it's look, what do you guys want from us? We're literally trying to be as peaceful as possible, and everything like that. And as we still should be, there's another half in that protest that are fed up and they're we it's being peaceful isn't working. So this is what you're going to get now. But again, I definitely feel like everybody should be as safe and protecting as they should, and we shouldn't be being as violent. But again, and I'm also saying it's not all the protesters' fault, because again, there's still some people that are maybe I don't know if the cops were killing something. I know people have been dying. I don't know if it was from cops, but
during the protests.
Yeah, during the protest.
I mean, some have been getting mixed up into I just seen one now. Somebody passed away trying to loot a FedEx truck, and I guess the driver was inside the truck, and he drove off with the person hanging on to a part of the truck.
I see. So yeah.
So some people are getting caught up into fighting. Some are getting shot with the rubber bullets and getting severe. I've seen people losing eyes just because they couldn't save it because of the rubber bullets and things like that. And
so yeah, stuff like that is happening, and it's
and some, at the very least, people are getting hurt. If they're not dying, they're getting hurt because of beatings between the police and other things. Because there was a video in New York of 2 cop cars in front of a barricade of people, and they just drove into it.
They were just driving into them. I saw that. I was like, yo, what? If
There's
you can't get through, I get it, but don't run. Take a
and they
different
weren't.
way. I don't know.
I know, and they weren't even like. If you're an officer, like they weren't like those people specifically in that video. They weren't hitting. They weren't really. I think they were throwing stuff, but whatever. Like it's like bottles and whatever. You're inside a car. Like it's not. And if they're saying things like you're a cop, you should be able to take somebody just saying words at you. One, there's freedom of speech. Two, you shouldn't be that sensitive. Because on a regular basis, say if you pull somebody over who's drunk, they're gonna spew whatever bull crap at you. You're not supposed to like just lose your cool and beat the crap out of them.
They're not. They're not supposed to. You're supposed to just. You're supposed to
Compose yourself and just do your
serve
job.
and protect. And it's like, I get it. You might be fed up because somebody's doing something they're not supposed to. But like, come on, we're all human. Like, no, we shouldn't. Nobody should have that much power to be like doing something to somebody to hurt them like that. Like, so.
I just don't know. This is like
maybe we go to sleep and we wake up. It's all a dream. Maybe this is still a dream. This is Inception. I watched Inception, so maybe this is all just a dream. Maybe this isn't all real. I don't know, but hopefully this all goes away.
Too much, bro. Yeah. And then somebody said the other day, it was like in little do y'all know hurricane season is coming up. Like in that, was it? I forget what that area called in the South is. Hurricane Valley? Is it that? Or Tornado Valley? There's like a common area where hurricanes hit every year in like the South.
It's like we're going through stages. Got hit with the virus.
It's tiring, man. I just want, like, I thought stuff was bad before. Now it's like, yo, we're supposed to be confined to our homes, and then we have to, like, still people being killed for no reason. Basically, because that's another. I know we're like running short on time. We've been going for a grip, even though it doesn't feel like it. Regardless of like, so in the instance of George Floyd, there was like I've seen 3 different reasons as to why he got arrested. One was like him being drunk. Another one, him using a bad, like a fake check, and another one being like a fake $20 bill or something like that. One, like, the drunk one, maybe if he was causing issues, like you can like arrest him. The other 2 is kind of like, get the hell out of here. Like, you can't use this here, whatever. But let's say he did get arrested. That wasn't a violent crime. So he was already detained, handcuffed, and on the ground. There was no reason for you to put your knee on him. You should have just put him in the car. If he wasn't getting arrested, or even if he was getting arrested or taken or not, if you had a problem controlling him, just put him in the car in handcuffs and then just deal with the situation there. There's no need for you to handle it in that way. Especially if you're detaining someone or arresting somebody for a non-violent reason, why are you letting it escalate to a violent situation?
And you're
literally given a baton and a taser on, like, and you go straight for your gun.
The ice cream truck.
And there was no gun involved in George Floyd's instance that I know of. But still, like, that your first resort shouldn't be to kill the person.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm guessing in the cop's case, like, he's sitting there thinking, oh, because I'm pretty sure, like, obviously we saw recordings and everything, like pictures and everything. So obviously there was like a group of people that were seeing all this. And I guess in the cop's mind, he's like, oh, we got to show them who's in charge. We have to show some type of discipline. So look, this is what's going to happen. Now, probably, like, I don't know if the cop obviously meant to kill him, but doing what he did obviously wasn't right. Like you said, you could have easily put him in the car. You could have easily, like, controlled it. But I guess because you thought you saw a crowd, you were like, oh, let me give him something to show. And
there was no fight coming out of that man.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it was like, what was your main goal? Like, what were you trying to do? And I guess it was to just show power. And when you, like, no one, like I said, no one has that power, and no one should think they have that power.
And even if you're like, oh, like, from my mind of like being in the cop's shoes, even if you're like, oh, like, because they probably deal with people all the time, and he could be thinking, oh, he doesn't feel like he's doing anything to him. Like, maybe he's just saying that to you to get him off of him. What was I saying? Oh, so in the cop's mind of like, oh, I'm trying to protect myself. I don't want to like give him the opportunity to get up and do something towards me. You still have those weapons on you. Like, these people are unarmed. You don't have to, like, there was a better way. And then you have, even it's like, oh, he's in that situation. Has like tunnel vision. He doesn't know what to do. You had 3 other cops.
Yeah, there's definitely other cops.
Could have been like, all right, that's enough. And then it's 4-on-1. Why do you need to
that's another, like, I know it's like we're running time, but like that's another thing, like I just don't see, like, okay, yeah, there's some people and some cops that have this corrupted mind and they're still racist and they're all that because of how they were grown, like how they were raised and everything like that. But I know not everybody's like that. And it's crazy to see how you have these other people that are cops that are on the force and they're right next to the cop doing these things and they're not saying anything. Like, I'm like, yo, if I was in one of those cops' shoes and I saw him doing something like that to somebody, I'd be like, yo, bro, get up. Like, come on, like, you're a cop, like, we don't do this, like, come on, like, we have a gun, we obviously, like, are taking care of it. Like, why are you trying to hurt this person? Like, bro, we have them in our hands, but let's escalate this down as much as possible. Why are we trying to hurt somebody? Like, that's just how I see it.
Another part of it is like, even if like there could be also fear in between the cops as well, because like, say if you are a good cop and you're surrounded a bunch of bad cops, you have your own career. And if you stand against what those people are thinking, they could ruin your career and your life. And there's a whole other branch to it of like being in that situation. Because some people are like fearful they might be affected. It's like, all right, I got to protect me at the end of the day. But
man, I understand that, but it's just like, bro, come on. There's a bigger cause at the end
integrity,
of the day.
man.
Yeah, like you can't go and just be, I don't know. You just can't do that, man. There's a bigger picture here for everything, and you just can't just turn the other cheek and be like, oh yeah, I wanted to save myself. Yeah, okay, but like, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been as bad as how this person got it now, because now this person is dead because you didn't stand up to protect them. But
so thank y'all for listening. Instead of putting our stuff out there this week, I think it'd be smarter for me to, like, if we do put this out in the description, I'll put the links to like all these places where you can donate and like stuff you can do. Put that in the description or put it on screen, and you guys can find all of those. Let me see if I don't know off the top of my head. I can try and find it because it's been posted all over the place. Probably find somebody who put up these like links. Forget if I can find it somewhere quick. I'm zooming through people's stories right now. Let me see. I found one just now. All right. So this one is the Black Lives Matter Global Network. And then there's a bunch of other, if you have social media, I'm sure you've seen a bunch of them. So just try and go after those. The Minnesota Freedom Fund, People's City Council Freedom Fund, the Action Network, Invest in Justice. There's plenty. George Floyd Memorial Fund, Minnesota Freedom Fund, Black Visions Collective, Reclaim the Block, Campaign Zero, Unicorn Riot, all this stuff like that. I'm going to put them there so you guys have it. And then I guess on the ETC page, we could put it out too, and then share it among our pages as well. Thank y'all for taking the time to listen. Be careful out there and respect each other. Don't be an asshole. It's that simple.
Main important. Yep.
All right. We love y'all. Bye.
All right. See you.